We hope you enjoy today's message on Acts chapter 2 verse 38 preaching channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to help us grow.
Doctor, it's not so fun. But I would have been happy for them just to keep singing and I could keep postponing. But thank you, Sister Russo, for having this conference for us ladies, and thank you all for coming, because if you didn't come, there wouldn't be any sense in us having one. And I appreciate my family tonight. Appreciate my husband being here. And I know this morning Sister Davis and Sister Mitchell talked about how awesome their husbands were, and Sister Hudson talked about last night her awesome husband. But y'all didn't get to meet any of them, and you got to meet my husband tonight, so you know he's awesome. Appreciate all the people that have come to me and told me they were praying for me, because I do need your support. And my middle daughter wasn't able to come tonight, but she sent me an email this morning. She was telling me about something else, but she said, about 9:20, pray for me because I'm having a cell biology test. So I emailed her back and I said, okay, it's a deal. I'll pray for you this morning if you'll pray for me tonight. And my youngest daughter is here, supposed to be somewhere, and I appreciate her being here also. Well, during the past few months, my husband and I have fulfilled a dream. We built a new home for our family. This was something that he really wanted to do, and I was a little bit more hesitant because of all the involvement and decision-making process this dream entailed. But we decided to take on the challenge, and it has been that. But it's been well worth the effort that it required. And with my thoughts in a building mindset, it occurred to me that there were many parallels between building a natural home and establishing a dwelling place for God. So tonight I would like to talk about building a life for Him. We read in 1 Corinthians 3:16, "Know you not that you are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?" The Bible talks about many things being built. Probably the first that would come to mind is Noah and the construction of the ark. God gave him specific plans: 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high, and the list could go on. In building our home, we didn't tell the various tradesmen who labored to do as they saw fit. We had a specific end in mind. We wanted a house that suited us, one that would be comfortable to live in. And needless to say, not any old construction of a life will do. God doesn't choose to dwell just anywhere. A life that He inhabits must be fit for Him. And it is a tall order to build a house for the Master, even as the ark was a great challenge for Noah. But look at the end result. Noah building the ark according to God's plan resulted in his salvation, that of his family, and potentially others. In this life that we are building for God, we are ensuring salvation for ourselves, but not just for ourselves, but for our children and grandchildren. And I will have to admit that here lately, I've started having a lot more thoughts on this grandchildren aspect of my life. Seems like every time I turn around, someone is talking about their grandchildren. And I told my husband one day, I said, I just want to know what it feels like to be a grandma, but I'm trying to be patient. Not only are we building a life for God that can impact our family, but others that we come in contact with. I want a life that will endure the flood for me, my family, and for others. Moses was given plans for a tabernacle in the wilderness. David was given plans for a temple in Jerusalem, which he passed on to Solomon. When God outlined the construction of each, the design revealed something about what the major purpose of the building was to be. They were to be places of worship, a place of communion with God. While each of us have the privilege of attending a physical church, which is a place to worship God, we need something more. We must build a life where the worship of God is a central feature. David instructed Solomon in 1 Chronicles 28, 9 through 10, "And thou, Solomon, my son, know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searcheth all hearts, and understandeth all the imaginations of the thoughts. If thou seek him, he will be found of thee, but if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever. Take heed now, for the Lord hath chosen thee to build an house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it." In the verses that follow these, David gives instructions for the building of the physical temple. But first, David wanted Solomon to understand there was more than just a physical temple to be built. There was a temple of the heart to be built as well. While it is important to be faithful to a local church, there is more required. It is important that our lives be temples for God. Our home began with a desire, a dream, and a plan. But it was not enough just to have a desire, a dream, and a plan. We had to take steps to make it come to pass. There are many dream home plans drawn which are never built. Someone lacked the commitment to see it constructed, or the price demanded was more than they were willing to pay. Building a life for God starts with a desire. He draws us to him, but we have to respond to his calling. We have to be committed, and we have to be willing to pay the price. A life built for God is not cheap or easy, but it can be his and our dream come true. We purchased a lot to build our home on. This lot was overgrown with brush, brambles, and trees. The lot had to be cleared of all this undergrowth. There is a lot of cutting, digging, and removal that takes place before a life for God can be built. The disarray and overgrown nature of the former life must be tamed. God's order must rule over the disorder of the flesh. Once the lot was cleared, a foundation had to be established. A lot of times we refer or we think of the foundation as the concrete slab, but really the foundation is good soil upon which the concrete slab will be poured. The contractor has to dig deep to ensure that the foundation is adequately supported by good soil, or after digging out, he may have to haul in good soil. If the foundation is not right, it will show up everywhere in the house, from cracked walls and ceilings to sticking doors, cracked brick, and a sagging roof line. We need to build our life on him on the right things. In Ephesians, we read, "And are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto a holy temple in the Lord." Jesus Christ needs to be the center focus of our life, and his word is the foundation upon which we need to build our life. There are guidelines given to us in the Word of God to help ensure a solid and enduring life in him. I don't want my spiritual life to deteriorate because I rushed to build on less than a good foundation. Our home had to be built according to the City of Lufkin codes. Inspectors with the city came out to make sure these guidelines were understood and followed. You may ask, where do they get these codes and what purpose do they serve? These codes are based on years of previous experience. They have been proven over time to ensure the integrity of the structure and the safety of the occupants. As each stage of the project was completed, the slab, the framing, the electrical, the AC, and the plumbing, inspectors would come out. If something didn't meet code, they instructed that it be fixed. When the home appeared complete, a final inspection was made to ensure that the home would be secure and safe for us to live in. We have been given a pastor to preach to us and instruct us. Paul tells us it pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. Our church family is also there to encourage us in the building of our life. And our ultimate goal is to receive a final approval that says this house is ready for God to dwell in. There are a multitude of books in existence, with more being written every day. But there is only one master's guide to building a life that God would choose to dwell in. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word have I hidden in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. This will ensure that our lives are the kind that God inhabits. All the houses in the subdivision where we live are subject to the same rules and codes. But that doesn't mean that the houses are all the same. Each is different and has its own character. Likewise, in our spiritual home, we are not cookie-cutter Christians. While we enjoy a common salvation, each has their own personality and uniqueness. Who would want to live in a neighborhood where every house looked the same? And God also enjoys the uniqueness of each life committed to Him. This time last year, there was not even an address for 1705 Jana Drive, Lufkin, Texas. It was just an overgrown lot that was an eyesore to the neighbors. Now when you drive up the street, you not only see a home on that lot, but the yard has been put in. There are flower beds planted along with a few trees. It is a place where I love to go. I feel so much at home there. I enjoy having family and friends over, and I'm not ashamed to have anybody stop by for a visit. And I don't say this because the house is elaborate or professionally decorated. It is modest, but something that we accomplished, and it just feels right. As we are building our life for God, we become a beautiful example of what a Christian lady should be. Where a life was once lived without purpose, there is now a dwelling place for the Almighty. We should never be ashamed of who we are and of the lifestyle that we live. It is there that God has chosen to dwell. While our home is built and we are living in it, there are still things that need to be done. Drapes and wall hangings still need to be purchased. The windows need to be cleaned and the window screens put on. And believe it or not, it just doesn't clean itself. I still have to vacuum, sweep, mop, dust. The yard has to be mowed and flower beds have to be weeded. And there is never a time to quit in building and maintaining a life for Him. We have to consistently spend time with Him in prayer, in Bible reading, and in fellowship with other believers, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much more as you see the day approaching. He is soon to come, and I want to make sure my house is in order. When we first started building this project, we were told by some that it could be a quick trip to a divorce. Surely that was an exaggeration. So we decided right up front that we were not going to get all bent out of shape if everything didn't turn out just like we wanted to. We would learn from our mistakes. I'm so thankful tonight that we serve a merciful God. He will forgive and give us another chance. But I do only have one life to live, and I want to make sure that it counts for Him. And as much as I am enjoying living in this home, one day I am moving to another new home. I don't know if it will be in 5 years, 5 months, or just a few days. This home that I am moving to, I didn't plan, build, or do any of the work. It is being built by the master builder. And it will be a mansion with streets of gold, walls of jasper, and gates of pearl. There will be no tears, sorrow, or pain there. And I will see Jesus face to face. To enjoy that future home, all I have to do is make this life a dwelling place for Him. In closing, I leave with each of us the charge that David gave Solomon: to know God, to serve Him, and to seek Him with a perfect heart and a willing mind. I can't wait for my heavenly address, and I hope to see you there. God bless you.